Welcome back to Salty Socks. This is our second podcast, everyone. First of all, what a response, Sean, from our first video. Give me a reaction.
We got way more views than I ever anticipated. I thought it was going to be around 30 views, honestly. And that was like generous because that's about how much we get on our family videos. Yeah, and so I was really excited about that. I was excited about all the comments we got. I wasn't expecting, I knew that our families would watch this and some friends. I did not expect them to give like actual quality comments other than great video, but they were asking questions, giving us ideas for future videos. So I was really excited about that.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. Keep on leaving comments, telling us what you do and don't like. And without further ado, Sean, what's our topic today?
Today we are talking about our rankings for all 10 Star Wars movies, where each and of our ranking of our least favorite to our most favorite, now that there are 10 movies.
And spoiler alert, we totally disagree!
And that is okay, people, all right? I am tired of the Star Wars fandom attacking each other because we all like different things of this story and franchise. So as much as Joseph is absolutely and objectively wrong about everything he thinks, I will not say that to his face. I will only share it with you, the loyal podcast viewers.
I'm the only one who brought metrics into this ranking system. I got math to back me up.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Okay. I won't even get into it because I just want to spread love, but your metrics are not actually metrics. They are subjective numbers that you made up in your head. So,
well, we'll let the audience decide, okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay, who's going first?
I'll go first. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to reveal each movie from 10, which is the one I like the least, through 1.
Okay.
Without any explanation. I'm just going to roll through this, all right? So number 10, my least favorite, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Number 9, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Number 8, Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Might surprise some people. Number 7, Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Might surprise some people. Number 6, Solo, A Star Wars Story. All right, I'm the defender of Solo. I'm the champion. Number 5, Rogue One. Number 4, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Number 3, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. There's a lot of numbers in this, I'm just realizing. Number 2, Episode 4, A New Hope. And number 1, I don't think should be any surprise to anybody, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, arguably one of the greatest films of all time, is my number 1 favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay, Sean, that's quite a bold list you have there, and I disagree with you on most of them.
Well, you would, because your list is wrong. So if my list is right and you disagree, that makes sense.
Okay, let me do some hot takes here. You got some crazy things on that list. The first one that caught my eye was, why is The Force Awakens so low?
Yeah, okay, so I have Force Awakens number 8, which is probably a surprise to a lot of people.
They look like that.
When The Force Awakens came out, I absolutely loved it. I loved the movie. I felt good about the direction of Star Wars. I felt good about Disney running Star Wars. I'm like, this is awesome. I love this movie. I'm excited about these characters. And then, and I would say at that time, actually, that when it came out, it probably was like in my top 3, like number 3 of my favorite Star Wars movies. It was probably better than Return of the Jedi for me. And then something happened, Joseph, this past December that you and I are well acquainted with. You and I were sitting in the same theater on the same night watching Episode 8, The Last Jedi, where Rian Johnson destroyed The Force Awakens, basically made it obsolete, made everything that The Force Awakens built up irrelevant. And so I can't help but it just has to go down the list. Like, if you rewatch The Force Awakens now after watching The Last Jedi, so many of the important questions of the movie, the important themes of the movie, there's just a huge disconnect. They just don't carry over into The Last Jedi, so it's just irrelevant at this point. So while in a vacuum, I still would enjoy watching The Force Awakens, which is a good point anyway. All 10 of these movies I still watch, and I enjoy watching them. Mm-hmm. I don't hate any of them. But in terms of the list of 10, because of The Last Jedi, I feel like there are 7 other movies that I like more than The Force Awakens because they mean more in the saga and in the story. So that is why Force Awakens is so low, though I do not think it is a bad movie.
So, following up with that, I feel like the other one that's very interesting is how high you have Revenge of the Sith ranked. What in the world are you thinking?
What have I done?
That is a prequel. We hate the prequels, remember?
Okay, first of all, here's a little life lesson. People say that you are not born a racist, all right? You are taught racism as you grow up. You are not born a prequel hater. You are taught by the world that you're supposed to hate the prequels, all right? When the prequels came out...
But you were the one to teach me to hate the prequels.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Why would you out me like that on national podcast television?
This ain't national. This is worldwide, baby. This is on the YouTubes.
On the World Wide Webs now, people are going to associate me with prequel hatred. I didn't teach you to hate the prequels. I just opened your mind to say maybe you don't, maybe they're not as awesome as you think. They're still awesome, but not as awesome as you think they are. Okay. Like I was saying before I was derailed by your false accusation.
Right, sorry. Revenge of the Sith. Number 4 on your list.
But when we were 10 and Phantom Menace came out, we thought it was awesome. We didn't think, man, Jar Jar Binks is real stupid, or, oh man, George Lucas really is ruining the franchise. I thought, this is awesome. I love it. I love Darth Maul. I love Qui-Gon. I love Obi-Wan. Everything was awesome. To this day, I have such great memories of watching Revenge of the Sith. By the way, besides the original trilogy, I've seen Revenge of the Sith more than any other of the movies. And it has arguably my second favorite scene in all of Star Wars, which is the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which to me carries the movie into the number 4 spot. Like, of all of the flaws with Revenge of the Sith, all of the things, all of the cringeworthy scenes between Padme and Anakin, I forget all of them.
Master Skywalker.
Okay, yeah, the younglings thing, we can overlook that. That was weird. But when we are on Mustafar at the end of the film and Obi-Wan and Anakin are dueling, I just love it. I think it's obviously it's the climax of the entire trilogy, the prequel trilogy. It's the climax kind of pinnacle of their relationship. And the choreography for the lightsaber duel is better than any lightsaber duel we see in any other movie, including the new ones.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
The score is awesome. It's like perfect for the moment. I just think that entire sequence is one of my favorite scenes in all Star Wars. And so seeing that tie in, that bridge from Anakin as a Jedi to becoming Darth Vader on screen, I've just always really liked it, in spite of all of the flaws that I know exist with Revenge of the Sith and the rest of the prequels.
Interesting. Well, that's very... I disagree with you wholeheartedly with the lightsaber battle on Mustafar. I think it's overly choreographed and a little bit silly at points. But I understand...
What?
That, exactly. Overacting, swinging from cables, dancing on lava droids. What in the world? Can we just have a straight-up lightsaber battle, okay? Does it really have to be so crazy?
Give me one that's better.
You want to hear one that's better? Luke versus Ben Solo on the salty shores of Crate.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Gosh. That's not even a duel because Luke's not even there. They don't even touch lightsabers. Their lightsabers don't even touch.
It is so good. Okay, can we talk about my rankings now? Are we done with yours?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. Joseph, tell us your rankings because I know I'm going to have problems with it. So I'll give you my hot takes when you're done.
Okay. Well, I decided to put some math behind it to actually make mine a legit ranking system. So I'm going to throw up there on the screen now my little spreadsheet. As you can see, all the numbers, what's going on. You can see I have 6 different categories. Significance of the overall story, the overarching story of Star Wars, character development, rewatchability, visual effects, plot, and of course, soundtrack. You know, you can kind of see that some of them are more important to me than others, but overall, I feel like this is a pretty good metric system. Now, I didn't rank, I gave each movie a numerical value between 0 and 10. You can see there's only 1 0 on the chart. That goes to Attack of the Clones character development. I don't think there's any discussion there. And
hey, Obi-Wan has some great spots in that movie, okay?
But I don't see his character developing. What's his conflict in the movie, and how does he overcome it?
All right. Oh, you want me to answer that?
Well, no, I'm just opening it up for people.
I mean, how about finding a freaking clone army and having to report back to the council and being like, what is going on in this Jedi Order that I'm following faithfully, and we have no idea what's going on? By the way, I'm trying to teach this hormonal teenager how to become a Jedi, and he's fighting against my teachings, and I'm struggling because I have an internal insecurity that I started training him too soon just because Qui-Gon wanted me to, and so I don't really know if I'm cut out to be a good Jedi Master here.
Come to your senses!
There's so much. Are
we arguing now about the merits of Attack of the Clones?
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
I reject that there is no character development.
Okay.
And also, it is also my least favorite movie, so continue, please.
Okay. There's a few 10s. Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi are the ones that get it. Anyway, here's the ranking from worst to best. Coming in at number 10, everyone knows it, Attack of the Clones. Number 2, The Phantom Menace. Which way am I going? 8, Han Solo. I think I talked about that last week. Number 7, Revenge of the Sith. Number 6, The Force Awakens. 5, Return of the Jedi. 4, A New Hope. 3, Rogue One. 2 goes to Empire Strikes Back, with the number 1 being The Last Jedi. Best movie, bar none. Number 1. Come on, give me some hot takes.
I just need a minute to recover from the blasphemy, the heresy that I'm listening to. That it's not even. Okay, let me just ask you some questions.
What's your biggest problem? Let's not talk about Last Jedi yet. What's the biggest problem here?
Yeah, the biggest problem is obviously Last Jedi. We have a major disconnect there. It's your number 1, my number 7, but we'll leave that to the end to talk about. Let me ask you this, okay. Rogue One. I really like Rogue One, but you have it really high up. What is so special about Rogue One to you that it edges out things like A New Hope and Return of the Jedi?
Rogue One to me is the movie I've always wanted, where it is a war movie where there's the highest of stakes, and we don't know. I went into that movie not knowing what's going to happen with all the characters, and it just left me so satisfied at the end. Like, this is perfect. That final scene with Vader has to be the best scene in any Star Wars movie.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Do you agree with that?
No. Don't get me wrong. It is a fantastic scene. Oh, I absolutely loved the scene. It is not the best scene in all of Star Wars. No.
I just feel for the ceiling guy. That poor ceiling guy. He thought he could get away. But,
No, absolutely. When I'm sitting in the theater and it happens, I'm, like, audibly shrieking. And I don't do that in theaters. And I was like, oh. It was so awesome, so cool. I agree with you. It is a fantastic scene.
I also am a big fan of the space battle. That whole third act is just a great part of the movie. I understand that there's some problems in the middle where they're going to find when they're going back to Yavin to try and get people on board, and when she sees her father die. I get that there's kind of slow parts, but the scenes on Jeddah, like a city under siege from the Empire, that's what I love. I just love that sort of stuff. That's why it's so high.
Yeah, I respect that. It's number 5 for me, so 2 slots lower than you. To me, Rogue One, as awesome as it is, it stands on the shoulders of A New Hope. So many of without A New Hope, there is no Rogue One, so A New Hope is higher for me. But I can't dispute anything you said. It's a fantastic movie. I agree with all the points you made. I love Rogue One. Okay. Let's just talk about Last Jedi. That's the meat of this conversation, right? That we obviously have such a huge disagreement with Last Jedi.
Which I think is a microcosm of the Star Wars fan base as a whole, right? You either love it or you hate it. There's no lukewarm people, I feel like.
That's exactly right. It has become this thing in the fan base where people either just absolutely love it or they hate it. And I will say, I don't hate it. A lot of the things that people complain about with Last Jedi, I actually don't have a huge problem with. But there are enough things about it that I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of this, that over time it has fallen lower and lower for me. Sorry, this is your ranking. We should talk about why you thought it was number 1. But let me say one more thing about it. Last Jedi and Force Awakens both are in a really unstable spot in my ranking because we don't know what happens in Episode 9.
True.
And so just like Force Awakens was high on my list, and then Last Jedi kind of lessened Force Awakens for me, Episode 9 is going to have a huge impact on these 2 movies for me. And so it's kind of a to be determined on what I think about The Last Jedi.
Right. Both those movies are kind of tied on a string, to quote Hux, to Episode 9. Wherever 9 goes brings both of them with it. I agree.
You know what line I should have used from Last Jedi when you said your rankings was the Luke line where he's like, every word that you just said is wrong. I just thought of that in my head, so edit that in at the right spot.
Okay, you got it. I'll do that.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Okay, so Joseph, sorry, I took way too much time talking about what I think about The Last Jedi. Just give us a sense of why it's number 1 for you, because I think a lot of people, the majority of people, don't you think, have Empire Strikes Back at number 1?
Yes.
Okay. And so what is so special about The Last Jedi for you that it supersedes Empire Strikes Back?
The Last Jedi, to me, is a movie that was so unexpected, made so many choices that I was not foreseen, made so many things that bucked tradition of Star Wars that I just couldn't help but love almost every decision that was made. From Luke being this grouchy old man to Rey and Kylo almost hooking up, and Kylo almost turning, and Rey not even coming close to turning, and Snoke dying. I mean, I can list every single part of that movie where it's just like, oh, that was so cool. To the Holdo maneuver, that's like the greatest visual effect, right? Can I say that? Is that a fair statement to say? That was such a great scene.
It's a very cool scene. I did like that.
To Leia freaking McGonagalling herself back to Hogwarts.
Sheer dumb luck.
I mean, there are so many cool things of that movie that I just couldn't help but rank it so high. So those are the reasons why The Last Jedi is so great. And I'll admit, this ranking can change, and it probably has changed a few times. Even today, when I was doing this ranking system, you called out some things that had changed from a thing I just sent you a text of a week ago. And so it's constantly moving, but I do think my top 2 and my bottom 2 are going to stay there for a while. The ones in the middle will change a bit, but those at the top and the bottom are going to stay there. And I think it's funny that both you and I agree on the bottom two.
Yeah, I think most people have Attack of the Clones as the worst one, and a lot of people have Phantom Menace pretty low as well. But like we said, they still are a part of Star Wars, and we still like the story and the movies, even though we can objectively look at it and say the acting isn't as good or the script is kind of cringeworthy at some points, cheesy.
Sorry, I don't want to. I just want to say one more thing, and it's so interesting that you brought up like when we were that age when they came out, they were great movies. My son Jack loves the Phantom Menace. I mean, he watched it again today.
Every day, we watch it every day.
See, every day they watch it. I saw a quote from George Lucas that Star Wars was made for 12-year-olds, and I totally agree with George Lucas's movies. They are made for 12-year-olds.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support. Once again, we're having a blast doing this, and we enjoyed talking today about our most favorite movies down to our least favorite movies in the Star Wars franchise. Leave a comment below detailing your rankings. We want to hear from you, your most favorite movie, your least favorite movie. We want to hear what you thought about our rankings. Did you agree with us? Did you not agree with us? What did I get right? What did Joseph get wrong? We want to hear all of those things. And so stay tuned for our next video. Obviously, every time we make one of these videos, it seems like we have more to talk about than we thought we would. So there's a lot more we can discuss. Obviously, we really need to unpack our feelings on The Last Jedi, which was not done tonight. And so more videos coming soon with more Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and
keep those socks salty.
We are doubling down on that. We are not letting go of that catchphrase.
We're keeping it.
See ya.
Bye.